Hey dumplings, it's Dave Desai. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to get into ROSÉ'S album and what is going on with that. Some people have been talking about some fans and people ripping it apart and doing something interesting with it. I definitely want to talk about it and get into it. We also have the news of the TV show Friends making a little reunion, and apparently BTS will be a part of that. However, their part seems to have been allegedly banned, so I want to talk about that. So grab your dumpling tea spilling mug merch and let's get into the tea. If you are new here and you're interested in this type of stuff, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified anytime new video drops. And if you're a hater, like to be first to leave your hate comment, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and that notification bell also so you can be first to do so. Now let's jump into it. The first thing I want to get into is what is going on with our baby girl Rosé from BLACKPINK. If you aren't aware, Rosé had an album release recently and her leading song is called On The Ground. Stream On The Ground for clear skin. The songs there are amazing and you can buy the digital album, which is obviously just the songs, as well as buying I think a physical album, which if you've never purchased a K-pop album before, K-pop labels like to encourage physical purchases by incorporating a lot of little gifts and goodies in the album. So a photo book, a poster, some merch, and in some cases before the old COVID times, there was even the possibility of getting concert tickets or tickets to a fan meet. And it'd be like with every 20 albums, there's a possibility of a ticket. This encourages fans to buy a lot of physical albums just to get it. However, because of this, and because of the nature of people wanting to support their favorite K-pop idol, oftentimes a lot of these physical albums and goodies that come with it are sold out from the official website and even in K-pop music stores. So it's hard, especially in the beginning, to get your hands on these physical copies and get the posters or photo books that you want. When Rosé released her album, it came with some photo cards. It also came with a big poster or little magazine book with many pictures of Rosé and just looks beautiful. I didn't physically get the album, I got the digital copy. I think they support the artists all the same in terms of chart rankings, so I buy the digital because I am broke. But if you're more familiar with what is in the physical album, let me know. However, I was seeing videos of people unboxing and that's what I saw. Now keep in mind, most of these unboxing videos and people who get a hold of these physical albums are being very careful with it. One, it's obviously something that your favorite artist has made and created, so you cherish it, much like you're holding the artist. And it will also probably be worth a lot of money in the future when you can't buy it anymore or when the artist passes on. Of course, it doesn't mean that these people will sell it, but the option is there. And lastly, they are careful because fans will get mad when they see people being careless with it, since not everyone can get their hands on one. Now, it was recently reported by some news sites and YouTube channels that there were some fans who ripped the photo book and started tearing out certain pictures and parts of the book, and like specifically just ripping out specific parts of Rosé. She would rip out the whole page and then rip out just Rosé on the page. When I first saw this, I was getting like a huge Regina Georgia burn book moment. I was like, we about to put Rosé in the burn book? Baby, what'd she do? Joking. But people were shocked by that action and many people got mad until they saw the full video where the fan was gluing the photos on the CD and made it into a collage. Now I think this is a beautiful thing because the photo book and all of that are made to be a collage and a representation of what Rosé's image and concept is, and just overall who she is as an artist. When you look at the finished product, it just looks like a beautiful CD that I would love to buy, honestly, and just have it there because it's so pretty. This Blink is definitely really creative and it just looks gorgeous. I can definitely see why some people would be upset given that they couldn't get their hands on the album and that maybe would have loved to not rip the book. However, if you buy the album and it's your money, you can do whatever you want with it. It also shows that particular Blink is not looking to sell the album or anything like that. She intended to keep it for herself and she just wanted something custom that no one will have of Rosé. Well, maybe now people will copy. It's not like she didn't honor Rosé by doing this. The photo book and everything is kind of a collage of Rosé. So the Blink honoring that concept and making that collage on the CD is beautiful. And now she can have the CD hung up in her room, and the moment you look at it, it reminds you of Rosé and her music. I also would not have been as creative to come up with something like that, and I definitely was confused when I saw the video, and I was like, wait, girl, what you doing? You better glue that page back in the book. But I was happy and excited to see what was going on. You Blinks are so creative and so awesome. I have no doubt in my mind that it's because of awesome and cool people like that Rosé is happy to have such an amazing fandom. I can only imagine her reaction when she sees someone taking her art and then making it their own. I think that is the coolest thing about art. Everyone has their own interpretation of what the art means to them and what they want the art to represent. So once you sell your art to someone, it's no longer yours. But people are allowed to take that and interpret it to how they will and change it. As long as it doesn't hurt the artist or attack the artist, then I see no problem with it. But it's also a lesson for us to learn to not attack or jump on someone before watching the whole video or reading the whole article. Because if people were watching the first few seconds of her just ripping the book, I think they would just be super pissed and not really know where it was going. But we must not jump to conclusions so quickly. Let's give people a chance first before we decide that they are banned or banished. I think this was the case for BTS for a long time. I think a very long misunderstanding caused them to kind of be allegedly banned from China. I don't know if they're officially banned or if they're just temporarily banned. I don't know. But currently anything BTS related is just not in China and it's blocked from Chinese media. I think you can still watch BTS through a VPN and see them on YouTube, but I don't know if BTS is allowed on Chinese social media because Chinese social media is not allowed here in the US. So I can't check. I don't know if BTS's face is just blocked there. Now, if you don't know what is going on, a lot of people believe this recent event with BTS not being on a TV show has to do with the BTS ban. So recently they announced that BTS will be a part of the Friends, the reunion. Friends is obviously a super popular TV show. I grew up watching it. RM said he learned English through it. So we know the members are big fans of the show. The fact that to this day, all the actors and actresses are still known for their role on Friends, even though they've done other big things, shows how big the show is. So when the reunion was announced, it was said that BTS would be a part of it. I was shocked. I didn't know if they would be doing the soundtrack or if they were acting in it. I don't know if the clip is officially out yet, like their part. So if it is, let me know. But I was very excited to see this. Now, apparently it was reported by some news sites that BTS's part is allegedly cut or deleted from the Chinese version of Friends, the reunion. People were mad, obviously, and thought it had something to do with RM's previous comment of when BTS received the Van Fleet Award and they addressed Korean soldiers and the US for the Korean War and forgot to mention China and their soldiers, which I mean RM would have no reason to. The award was for Korea and the US. But anyway, people assume this is why it was cut, but I think this time it might not actually be this reason. BBC actually reported on this and said that they actually are not very sure specifically why. Because allegedly it was reported that Lady Gaga, Justin Bieber, some LGBT scenes, and Joey or Matt LeBlanc being in his underwear was cut. So it seems to be them cutting out certain things that could be considered controversial to the Chinese audience. I'm hoping that China will warm back up with BTS, at least the Chinese audience will. I don't know how, but I hope that one day everyone to just get along and find peace. I love peace and happiness. I definitely wanted to see what some people had to say about this. However, all the comments I was seeing were deeply slandering China. I don't agree with that. I think we are allowed to have a discussion on what we believe is right or wrong, but the conversation should not be about how China is evil and that they're a horrible country. The country and their leaders have certain opinions that are different from ours. One thing we can learn from our boys in Korean culture is that not everything in Korean culture are we going to agree with, but we are going to learn to respect and acknowledge that that is their culture. I obviously have some opinions on men needing to join the Korean military, but I have never bashed it and never said the country is evil for doing that because it's part of the culture. And it's racist to be like, well, we aren't like that, so they have to be like us. No. But I do hope that one day everything gets resolved and there is just in general less conflict in the world and music and art doesn't have to be so political. I think the Chinese audience would like to see everyone who is in it to be in it. Keep in mind, this is not the Chinese government doing this, I don't think. This is the audience not happy with those celebrities. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your thoughts are. Leave it in the comment section down below. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'm featuring this comment right here. Thank you so much for leaving comments. And of course, I do have a Patreon if you'd like to see some exclusive content that I have over there. Content that I can't really post on here, such as music video reactions, performance reactions, ship reactions. I have over 300 videos that are currently already up on there, as well as daily posts and all that. Currently, we do have a 10% sale going on, so if you'd like to go over there and check it out. We also have some limited spots available in the $1 tier if you would like to go and check that out as well. We do have such a great time over there interacting and having fun with each other, as well as I do send out cards every month too. There's a video over there that kind of explains Asian in media and my experience with that. Also, a little bit more information about how you can support this channel even more if you would like to do that. That video is free to watch if you'd like to check it out. The link is in the top description down below. With that said, there's two videos that will appear up on screen at the end of this video, so click on one of those and I'll see you over there. Bye.